your new host for my newly branded channel, Edge of South Africa. As I have said before, I changed the channel, the branding of my channel, from Knife of the Party to Edge of South Africa, just because there's too many Knife of the Party guys out there. I wanted to change my channel. And, you guys have seen my channel for now, for those of you that watch my channel. Um, you know that most of my knives are from South Africa, so why not? Might as well showcase that my channel is all about South African knives because as a collector, I have a passion for the way they make the knives and their ingenuity in putting it all together and their use of materials. So what I have here is a new knife that I just recently got from a new knife maker. His name is Robert Lidderd. He's from South Africa. He just started. In fact, this knife doesn't even have a certificate of authenticity. Um, I've tried many times to get a new knife maker. In other words, push a new knife maker. I've tried several times unsuccessfully. This is the first time I've ever successfully done it. Obviously, I had to buy the knife from the guy, but I didn't buy it for, the regular price of a custom knife just because the guy's a brand new knife maker. So let's get into this one. So this guy, Robert Lidderd, I discovered him on Instagram. He's about 60 years old. He used to be a boiler maker in the mines. I'm not quite sure what that occupation is, but he has now retired and is now starting his career as a knife maker, and this is one of his knives. This was actually shown on Instagram. I saw it. I was pretty intrigued by it, so I offered to buy it from him, and it turns out that I am his very first customer in the United States. He has sold knives to his friends and family in South Africa, but never to anyone outside of the United States. I'm his very first customer, and it's pretty much safe to say that this knife here is a one of a kind. So let's take a look at it. The name of this knife is called the Leopard because he likes leopards, I guess. But that's the model of this knife. It's an all titanium frame lock. Give you guys a quick look at it. I've been using it, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good knife. All titanium build. It's a frame lock, as you guys can see. We've got a G10 pivot ring around the pivot here. It runs on bearings. And yeah, it's pretty smooth. Centering is dead on. Really, really very nice piece. We've got a back spacer here. Looks like it's got like these this sort of design on the back spacer. Really well done. We've got a lanyard hole. Like I said, the guy is just beginning to make knives. In fact, he's only been making knives for about 18 months. The pocket clip, I think, needs to be pushed down a little bit, maybe down to about here, maybe make it a little bit more deep carry. But, I mean, like I said, he's still learning. I've never seen a blade shape like this. It's pretty interesting. Sort of looks like an arrowhead, I guess. But for the most part, it's a modified drop point blade. The steel is ATS 34 steel, and the knife is pretty sharp. See if I can get some paper here. Hold on one second. So when I bought this knife, I figured I'll buy it from him, and it'll be a good beater piece. So there you go. I mean, this guy Yeah, it's pretty sharp. Um, no doubt about it. The knife is approximately 3.1. It's got a 3.1 inch blade. The overall length of this knife, I'm going to say it's about maybe 7.8 inches overall. It's a good build. It's a good solid build. Uh, One of the challenges that he had was centering. In fact, before I purchased this knife from him, um, yeah, it was the centering was off, but he's getting much better at it. Smoothness, yeah, it's there. The knife does not run on ceramic bearings, but it does run on ball bearings. So you guys might want to check this guy out. I like I said, I bought this custom knife off of him at a deal price. I'm not gonna say how much I paid for it because it wouldn't be fair to him. The guy's trying to make money doing this for a living. I'd like to see that happen. So if you do want to get maybe your first custom, and that's another thing to consider. Um, if you want a custom knife and you don't really want to pay the ridiculous amounts of money that most of us pay for customs from a very well-known knife maker, you can use this option because I will guarantee you um, the quality would probably be about the same. The materials certainly are. This is titanium, all right, and I got this knife for a really good deal. That's all I can tell you. Uh, so, I mean, if you're looking to get a custom, or maybe you're into production knives and you want to get your first custom, this is an option for you. Go on Instagram, seek out a new knife maker. If you look on Instagram, you can see what his stuff looks like. If you like his stuff, start a conversation with the guy. Show genuine interest. Obviously, you're not going to go after these people just to get a good deal on a knife. They're looking to promote their work, and if you're someone who's honest with them and they're honest with you, you can build a really nice relationship that way. Just know that eventually, when they get better and better at doing what they do, which is build knives, you're not going to get a good deal on a knife. You're going to have to start paying full price eventually, and it's only fair because it's a learning, it is a learning occupation, and as they go through this hobby slash new career, they're going to get better and better and better. And you, as a buyer, you're going to have to respect that. And that's what I did with this guy. The deal that I got on this knife, I'm not going to expect him to continue to keep giving me good deals on knives. Even though I genuinely love his stuff. And he's made quite a few knives on his Instagram website. Again, his name is Robert Lidderd. I'll put the link on my channel to this guy's stuff if you guys are interested. He, at this point in time, he's not doing what other knife makers do, where they have a specific model and then they're going to put different materials on it, different aesthetics on it to make it a one of a kind. All of this guy's knives, as far as I understand it from this point on, until he is done with the learning process, they're all going to be one of a kinds. Now, keep this in mind. This is sort of, I'm assuming, I'm going to say that this knife here is pretty much a prototype. Who knows if this is going to be a model that he's going to continue to make. I don't know if it is. It may or it may not be, because you never know. When you make knives and you're a knife artist, you're going to be inspired by some things. And that's what I'm hoping is going to happen with Robert Lidderd. That while he's in the part in his career where he is learning how to make better and better builds, He's also going to be inspired by the materials that he comes across, which, if you check out his channel, that's already happening because none of the knives that I've seen on his website are exactly the same. Not only does he use a plethora of materials that are organic and inorganic, okay, but he's also creating different models. Uh, each time he makes a knife, it's a different model. I don't know how many different model knives this guy's experimented with, but so far, from looking at his channel, I'm gonna say he's made like maybe 8, and he just keeps going and going. And I think he's doing that because he's self teaching himself how to make knives. And what I am hoping is going to happen with this guy is he's going to come across a model knife that he's real comfortable making, and then he's going to use or choose that as his signature model knife, which is what happens with all custom knife makers from any country. You know, they build a one of a kind knife, and it's sort of a combination of them as a knife maker. They really enjoy that model, and they can make it efficiently. Keep that in mind, because they're making these things by hand, and they're making the knives. They're also thinking, like, in the future, well, I have to be able to make this model knife on a particular time frame that's reasonable for my customers. So what he's doing is he's coming across different model knives, he's creating different model knives each time using different materials. And I think he's probably hoping he's going to run across a model knife that he makes that, number one, he loves it. He loves making the model knife. It's easy, but not too easy. It's also very easy for him to create the knife using different materials. So when the customers eventually find the knife or like the knife, he can change it up, switch it up, and the time frame to make the knife for him as a knife maker won't be much different, because obviously he's not going to be taking 50, 60, 70 orders in the beginning. He's going to have to find a comfortable level number to make a knife that's reasonable for him, so that he can make it in a reasonable time frame, just because he's making all of these knives by hand. But in the meantime, Robert Lidderd is in his experimental stage, so I would suggest that you kind of approach his Instagram channel that way. He's a knife maker that's got the skills. Obviously, when you look at this piece, I mean, look at this, man. The centering is dead on this thing. Centering is not easy to do. From what I can see, the only thing wrong with this knife is probably the pocket clip. He just has to move it down a little bit. But this knife has no blade play, guys. This one is as solid as a goddamn rock. I mean, I don't feel any blade play. And this guy's been making knives for 18 months. I mean, that is just insane. Like I said, he used to be a boiler maker in the mines, and he's decided to take up knife making as an occupation in his second career. Hats off to him. I'm really happy to know him, and have been very happy to meet him. I plan on buying more knives from this guy, at least 2 more. But I want to wait a while for him to get real comfortable with what he's doing. I'm gonna keep on top of him and encourage him to continue to make knives and just get better and better and better at it, because he's in his enjoying stage, okay, where he's enjoying making the knives as a hobby. Yes, he's happy to sell the pieces that he makes, which obviously only encourages him to get better and better and better, because who the hell wants to do a hobby where your intention is to make money and no one's buying your stuff? So, that's my point, is that I bought this to kind of encourage the guy. He is really, trying to learn to come into his own. I think maybe he could do something else with the blade shape. I originally told him to make this knife and call it the shark because it looks like a shark. See how the blade shape looks? It looks like a shark. So I thought, why not call it a shark? But he wants to call this one the leopard. So I'm not going to argue with him. It is a really good, solid build. I'm going to enjoy using this one as a beater. In fact, I've been carrying it for quite a few days now, and I'm just loving it. It's very, very smooth for a knife that doesn't run on ball bearings. He's got the skills down. His frame lock work is really good. If you look closely, this G10 ring. Um, You've heard of some knife makers, custom knife makers, and even in production world, where they take the pocket clip and push it up towards the frame lock and make that an over travel stop. Here, he's made the G10 ring an over travel stop, sort of in a way. Over travel stops are to prevent you from pushing the frame lock out too far and bending it, so that it'll begin to lose its flexibility, and it won't be as solid. But this knife doesn't seem to have any blade play on it. It's just a stellar build for you know a beginning knife maker who's only been making knives for about 18 months. I only assume that he'll get better and better and better. And knives like this you're going to treasure because you never know where a beginning knife maker is going to go. He may wind up like Erucus Blumeris and Andre Thorburn and Des Horn and those senior guys that have been making knives for 20 years on up. You never really know. I mean, the guy's only 60, but who knows in 20 years if he's still around. Let's hope he's still around. He'll be right up there with Des Horn and Erucus Blumeris and Andre Thorburn. J.D. Ellis and all those other guys that make custom knives that I love and that are in my collection. I'm real happy that I met this guy because I'll be at the beginning of someone's career, and that's what I wanted. Like I said, I've tried doing this many times unsuccessfully, where I try and reach a new knife maker, and we're just not connecting. But I connected with Robert Lidderd. Like I said, the guy's 60 years old. Maybe that's the reason. He's 60, I'm 55. We're right around the same age, from the same generation, pretty much. So that kind of helps. You can build a rapport with these people. And if your intentions are genuine, then I would suggest you move ahead full force. So once again, Robert Lidderd. Again, I'll put the link to his Instagram page on my channel if you guys want to check him out. And you'll see each knife that he makes is completely different than what you see here on my channel right now. I mean, he's worked with carbon fiber. If you guys are interested, he's worked with ivory. He's worked with all kinds of materials. I just picked up a titanium basic frame lock because I wanted to see his basic build skills as a knife maker. Not that I'm an expert, but I am an expert at spending a ton of money on this hobby. That's my expertise, is that I've spent so much money on this hobby that I think I can help a knife maker go in a certain direction because I know what I like. But then again, what the hell do I know, right? I mean, I'm like all of you guys. I'm a knife addict that loves custom knives at this point, and production knives too. I'll probably, and in fact, I'm probably going to go back into production knives a little bit. While my channel is called Edge of South Africa, I named it Edge of South Africa for the fact that most of the knives on my channel are South African, and my collection is South African. But I love all types of knives. In fact, last week I did a video on a Spyderco silver axe. If you want to check that video out, you can see that on my channel. So I'll be doing videos on all kinds of knives, but my main purpose of my channel is to promote and collect South African knives. That's what my channel is all about, and that's what I'm passionate for. So Robert Lidderd, check him out. This is the leopard model. I'm sure if you say hello to him, he'll definitely make you one of these. But right, I don't see that as a problem. And as I said, as far as pricing goes, be kind to the man. Okay, he spends his days spending money to get titanium material and G10 material, and the ATS 34 steel, I'm sure, is not cheap. So you want to keep that in mind. Also, keep in mind, South Africa is not a rich country, guys, okay? They have a completely different socioeconomic background than we have. I'm sure you guys have heard that people in South Africa actually have what's called load shedding. That's where they turn off the electricity for a couple of hours, at least 3 times a day. So there's even a time when the poor man can't make knives because they've shut off the electricity in his country, in the region of his country, and he can't do that. So you really got to be real fair with the pricing on him. I'm sure he will allow you to haggle with him. But if you have a conscience at all, man, if you have a conscience at all, you'll be kind and, not go so super low on the guy because he is trying to make a living. And, I got to be honest with you. I feel real bad about, I'm not going to tell you what I paid for this knife, but I feel pretty bad that I got the knife for as cheap as I got it. I don't want to use the word cheap, but you can understand because I don't know the guy, right? I've never met him. I don't even know what his knives look like. And I think in his mind, when I was speaking with him, he was thinking the same thing. Well, to him, I think it was more important that he sell his very first knife outside of South Africa, and not to a friend, but to an actual customer. That was more important to him on this first build that he sold than, making a profit. However, for myself, yeah, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I ripped the guy off, and I'm real sorry. I'm going to try and be a little bit kinder the next time I purchase a knife from him. And I'm doing that also for all the fans on my channel. You guys are going to want to do the same thing as well. Just be kind when it comes to purchasing a knife from this guy, especially if you're a custom knife collector like me. You know how much these knives cost. So you're going to be tempted to do what I did, but I'm asking you, do not follow in my footsteps when it comes to purchasing a knife from a new knife maker. Let's encourage these people. Let's allow them to get good at what they do, because further on down the line, the reason we're doing this, or the reason I'm doing this, is because I want to be hungry for his art real bad as a knife collector. I want to be one of the guys that's going to buy his knife for the ridiculous price of $1,200. Eventually, he wants to be the knife maker that does that, I'm sure, on some of his knives. That would be a blessing for him. And I'm pretty sure now he feels blessed because he's got the skills to make a knife. Now all he has to do is to pick a model that he's comfortable with. Choose that model as a signature model, and just go to town and choose different materials to create that one with, and just get his career going. But for now, he's building knives, all different kinds, all different shapes, all different blade shapes, using different materials, and that's the exciting part. For him as a knife maker, and you as a knife buyer, you're going to get to see this guy firsthand get good at learning what he's trying, at learning at building knives, and you're going to get the thrill of watching his career grow and grow and grow and grow, like I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to be keeping on top of this guy in the next following months. In fact, he's making a knife right now. I'm pretty much going to leave him alone and let him do that. As far as design of knives, a lot of custom knife makers, they actually draw their knives out on paper as a design. And then what they'll do is they'll put the design on a computer, and then they'll get all the specs for that particular model, plug it into a computer, the blade shape, the blade size, the length of the blade, the length of the handle, the frame lock, how long the length of the frame lock should be. They do all that on a computer, and then they build the entire knife completely by hand. I'm assuming this guy just draws his knives out on a paper and begins to build the knife by hand. Well, meaning build by hand, there's no CNC machining involved. The machines, what they use to build the knives are handmade tools. A lot of times, the handmade tools, because the model is so specifically only to them as a knife maker, they actually make the tools that make that knife for that particular model, which is just absolutely insane. And I would love to see Robert Lidderd go in that direction, and just get better and better and better. Who knows? Maybe this might be one of his signature models. I don't know. But again, like I said, if you check out his Instagram page, and I promise I'll put that link on my channel, you'll see he's making all kinds of... None of the knives that he makes are exactly the same. They're all one of a kind. They're all completely different looking. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So check him out on Instagram. You can look him up if you don't want to wait for me to put the link on his channel. His name is Robert Lidderd, or RL Blades, if you will. That's where you can find him, RL Blades. And he's busy right now making knives. Like I said, it looks like his pocket clip needs to be moved back a bit, and I've told him that, and he knows. And actually, the pocket clip being moved back was actually a suggestion by Henny Duplessis. But other than that, man, this is a solid build. I'm going to actually ask this guy to build me something special with some really nice materials, and because I do like this build, but this one's going to be, definitely this is going to be like a beater. I'm just going to use this one to death. It's a real solid knife. Like I said, there's no blade play. I mean, he's really got it. For a guy that's been making knives for only 18 months, one of my pet peeves is centering. And, I mean, you guys can see the centering is dead on this. It's just fantastic. Again, the blade shape is a little weird, but it works. It works. It looks like an arrowhead or even like a shark. That's why I thought it should be called the shark. Anyway, this is Omar, your host of Edge of South Africa, where we discover all South African knives, all South African knife makers. Signing off, hoping you'll find Robert Lidderd somewhere in your collection someday, because this guy's definitely got it. And I'll see you guys in the next video, which is going to be coming up in a few minutes. I'm going to be showcasing a knife maker in my next series of videos. I'm going to be showcasing a South African knife maker in my next video. And that's what I plan on doing for the next few series until I get a new knife. I've got some knives that are coming. In the meantime, as you guys know, I'm not a millionaire, so I'm kind of like trying to pay down my credit card debt, which is going down very nicely. But in the meantime, I've got a Clyde Challenor Viper coming. I've got a new Henny Duplessis Rocket coming, which is one of his model knives that I named. I'm happy to say I named it. And I've also got a Mitchell Clark knife that's coming. I ordered it like a year ago, and I'm still waiting for it. When I get that knife, that guy's video is going to be extra super long. So I'll see you guys in the next video coming up in a few minutes. In the meantime, please check out Robert Lidderd, and if you do, check him out. Say hello to him for me, and encourage his work, because he's got it. I'm telling you, he's got it. I think he's going to be one of the premier knife makers in the future, or at least the go-to guy for your first South African knife. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good evening.